First cheers on recording.
Again.
Gotta make those.
Those beautiful mouth noises. The new thing of like drinking on recording is amazing, and
I thoroughly enjoy it.
especially when I'm drinking the hardest of alcohols.
You are especially hard tonight.
Cup of English breakfast tea because I'm driving home and I'm a responsible boy.
That's good. It's good to see responsibility in a rural area where you could pretty much get away with anything.
But that doesn't matter. The law's the law for a reason, and you got to be responsible.
Yep. All right. Talking about laws and rules, we're about to get into now. I know we say this every episode, and I feel like we're going to say it.
Before we get into one of the best episodes, have a cookie.
An M&M cookie.
An M&M cookie.
Oh, we stuff our sponsors that we have. M&M cookies are better than theirs.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Although if you pay us money, we'll take that back.
All right, intro or whatever.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Implications of Phineas and Ferb podcast.
There's 365 days in a gap year, and uni's gonna come and end it. So the once in a lifetime problem for us is to find a good way to spend it.
Making a podcast.
Thaddeus and Thor.
This is my favorite episode, I think, of all of Phineas and Ferb.
He never shuts up about it. When people go, "What's your favorite episode of Phineas and Ferb?" Without hesitation, he goes,
It's Thaddeus
and
and
Thor.
Thor.
And I cannot fault that because it's
We say this
it's so good.
every episode.
And the fact that we say this every episode probably suggests that this is a pretty good show. You should maybe watch it.
And a show that we obviously love. And I want to be very clear. If you're going to watch an episode, if I can make you watch an episode, if you want to give your eyes some pleasure and your ears just some of the best things you'll ever hear, watch this episode.
It's beautiful from start to finish. It is episode, what number?
8.
Episode 8 on both Disney
Season
Plus
2.
and in the actual order because they're in
Season
order
2, episode 8.
Mhm.
Thaddeus and Thor. And who gives a shit
now.
about that one?
The plane. That it's still a really good one
It's
though.
still a really good episode though. They don't fault it. Like, of course, there's a little bit of a dip, but it's tiny. It's impeccable.
Beautiful show.
Best episode you will watch.
Let's get right into it. What happens in Thaddeus and Thor?
Well, God's gift to man, pretty much. It's actually so good because
Oh, and by the way, I am playing the role in this episode of the line guy because there is maybe 20, 30 good quotes in this episode. It is back-to-back
we'll have
one-liners.
to just leave some out because we don't have the time to
don't-
cover them all.
This is-
and if
this
you
is a
want to
podcast.
hear them all, watch the episode. Stop listening. Go
watch
on to Disney
it.
Plus. Watch
If
it.
there's a dip in our viewers and we can reliably say that it was because they were watching the episode instead of listening to our podcast, I'm okay with that.
I'm perfectly fine, especially for this episode. Now, what actually happens? One of the cool things that Phineas and Ferb has always relied on is the fact that we keep describing. One of the best parts about this show is the fact that everyone's nice, and I think that's a really key factor. Is that there isn't competition. No one's competing. Like, Doof isn't really competing with other scientists. He does in like other episodes, but it's not a regular thing. No one's actually.
Most of the time, he's not even evil.
Yeah. And like the only fighting you get is between Perry and Doof. And you know
they
how
still
we feel
love each
about
other.
that.
Like,
yeah.
they're good mates.
Insert nemesis here. Like, that song just sums it up in just such an easy way.
We're recording at Joe's place, so we don't have the soundboard, and it's tragic moments, TM.
It's just so hard. It's so hard. I never realized how much I wanted it until I didn't have it. Like everything else.
You want to
in my
hit
life.
that nemesis button and just get that right up in your ears.
Yeah, but I can't. It's turned up so loud. Anyway, so this is the one episode you can point to, and it's where Phineas and Ferb directly go into competition with 2 other people. And it's so good because it just does not hold back. It is like,
And they're so unbothered.
they're so unbothered.
They don't care about competition. They're not competitive people.
No, but if they were, they'd fuck you up. So Thaddeus and Thor come over. No, first of all, Candace meets the sister of Thaddeus and Thor, and they start bonding over how much they...
And I'll interject. The line guy, TM. First good line. Candace goes, "Wait, so I'm in charge?" And she's like, the mom's like, "Yes, because I'm going out. You're in charge." And Candace is like, "Wait, So I'm like, by all circumstances, in charge. And she's like, suddenly I'm a little scared, but yes. Mwah.
I'm the complete overlord of my two brothers, of Phineas and Ferb. She's like, yeah, now I'm a bit worried. Maybe I don't want to do this. Okay, so she goes to the back. She talks to the sister. Sister's like, no. I know what you're talking about. Did you not hear what my brothers did? They made a mall for a cat. Who gives a fuck? They made a mall for my cat. They made a mud pit. I don't care. I didn't write them down. You know what I did? Anyway, doesn't matter. Mine are the most obnoxious that you'll ever see because they make the biggest stuff. And Candace is like, hold up. You think yours make the best thing?
Have you seen mine?
Did you see that glacier that we destroyed? Did you miss the roller coaster? Maybe.
Sorry, I was a little late to having a conversation with you. I was stuck in 27 million BC.
Yeah. Oh, did you not see me on Mars? Were you not looking up then? Did you miss the bit when we cracked interdimensional travel and time stuff?
If you look really carefully up at that star up there, see how it's twinkling? That's because the sign out the front of our intergalactic milkshake bar, which I'm probably a co-owner of in some regard, is twinkling because we like that effect. It attracts more customers.
Have you heard of that really nice restaurant train called
Ches
Ches
Platypus?
Platypus? Yeah, no, it's theirs.
Yeah, it's named after my pet platypus that I have for some reason, despite being
where's
an American.
Perry? Oh, that's right. He disappears to fight off an evil agent.
You can't compare,
You
honey.
can't compare, honey, but it's okay. We'll do this for the sake of it. Earlier, Candace is like, don't build anything. I don't want to have to bust you. Just be normal. Phineas and Ferb are like kind of puts a wrench in our plans, but you know what? We're fine with watching
We
TV.
love you so much, we'll do it. We won't do anything anyway, because
Yeah.
we're nice like that.
Yeah, we are nice like that. So she goes in, and now I believe you've written one of the best lines.
Oh, yep.
Line guy.
Candace comes in, and she says, boys, I need you to actually build something today. And they're like, what happened to not building stuff?
You need to
And
build a fort.
You need to build a fort. And they're like, what happened to not building stuff? And she's like, we have to beat the neighbors' brothers. And Phineas goes, well, we don't really do this to compete. We do this for fun. And I'm like, you're 100% right, you do. And then Ferb looks straight at the camera and goes, and the ladies. Ferb, you womanizer.
Look at him go.
And he's clearly got the ability to pull. He's got...
Have you seen that hair?
Have you seen
That is
Vanessa?
hard to pull. God damn.
He wins.
He's got game.
Yeah, he's got hella game. And the fact that he can do it with like barely talking, he's a gob.
Anyway, so as this is setting up to be as a competition, and you're like, what is Phineas and Ferb going to build? We go to some of the best beeline doof stories we've had
Oh, yeah.
with the Doof and Smirts annual kickball.
Doof and Smirts annual kickball.
Can you imagine any family having an annual kicking thing? Like kickball competition or whatever?
If any family would do it, it would be mine.
Well,
Oh, actually, I was going to say that
there's a
because
little hiccup
we would do...
because it's sport.
Yeah, I was going to say we would do some weird annual tradition because my family's not the normalist. But we, it's a sport, so...
Yeah,
never mind.
I know a lot of families get behind sport, but I haven't seen them actually play. Maybe there's like annual cricket. I don't know. We're not into that sort of culture.
We used to play family cricket. It was enforced by
Okay.
my pop.
If we ever did it in this country, it would be an annual cricket thing. It'd have to be.
I love cricket.
Beach cricket's good.
Cricket is so good. Pakistan, eat your heart out.
Don't you love it when the guy hits the ball?
Oh, and the ball goes like into the air, and then like someone tries to catch the ball.
Yeah, and then he misses it because they're
Yeah.
not Australian.
Yeah, exactly.
They're probably Kiwis. They're terrible. And then do you love it when we get the ball and like the bowler's got it, and instead of
What
bowling
the fuck is a
it-
bowler?
Oh, okay, yeah. Instead of the guy who throws the ball, how he runs and throws.
Oh yeah, the guy that throws the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of, doing his job and doing that, he gets like sandpaper out of his pants and he starts rubbing it on the ball. Like, I love that bit when that happens.
For those who don't know,
Big
when you
scandal.
look at other countries, you're like, what's their biggest scandal? Russia's, the president's killed an opposition leader, and the opposition leader from this country is fleeing, and this one,
King
slept with
Jong-un
King
kills his
Jong-un,
brother.
and in America
Donald
it's
Trump
like sleeping with a
can't
porn
contain
star.
coronavirus.
When Donald Trump, it's like C 2020 is a concept. And then in Australia, one of our cricketers sandpapered
it was 3 cricketers.
3.
The captain was behind it.
Oh my! I did not know this. I still don't quite understand it, but he sandpapered the side of the
He was
cricket
going
ball,
to cheat.
and it made national news
We were
for months. I tell
We're
you,
still cut.
it is the most pained our national consciousness has ever been. There was a shame to be known as Australian. People are like, "What country are you from?" And you're like, you know, in your really obnoxious Australian accent, you're like, I'm from nowhere.
New Zealand?
From New Zealand.
Protect me?
And they're like, "You're Australian, aren't you? Because you got an Australian accent." And you're like, "Yes, we were the ones that cheated in cricket." And they're like, "What the fuck is cricket?" Because, you know, it's other countries. And if you're not from Pakistan or New Zealand, you probably don't know what cricket is.
Yeah, no, New Zealand pretends they don't know
And
what
we're like,
cricket is.
we're not just the ones who play cricket, we're the ones who cheated. It was like a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Even I knew about it. And I don't know anything about sport.
Complete sidetrack. Anyway, kickball game. Doof is sick of now...
Being bad at sports?
Yeah,
Relatable.
being bad at sports.
Relatable.
Beautiful backstory. Wish we could tell you about it. Go watch the episode.
Mm-hmm. We don't discuss Doofenshmirtz's backstories on this show.
Some of one of the best songs in season 2. I don't know what we were talking about that last season final.
Yeah,
There
we
are
were like,
tons of good
we were like,
songs in
there's not
season
that many
2.
songs in season 2. What were we thinking?
There are so many good ones.
It doesn't have Ain't Got Rhythm and Busted, so like it's by proxy the second best. But it's the second best full album of music that we got for a TV show that's perfect. It's still fantastic.
It's absolutely incredible. And I couldn't kick my way right into a heart. I just want to say it. And there's a beautiful joke that Doof says.
Are we going to mention the
No,
joke?
we can't.
We can't mention the joke. There's a cameo, and we wish we could tell you about it. But if you watch the
And
episode,
it breaks time and it breaks flashbacks, and I'd really like to break it down, but I can't.
because we don't discuss Doofenshmirtz's backstory,
Because we
on
need
this
you to
show.
watch this show.
We do get a great line though. Thaddeus and Thor show up, and they're like, "Well, we did this and this and this and this. Jealous?" And Phineas is like, "No, not really."
Yeah. He's like,
He just doesn't care.
He's like, I don't have to prove anything to you. No.
He's like, "And if I did prove anything to you, it would be
Which-
how
hang on.
incompetent and inferior
which
you are."
we will. And we won't even do it because we wanted to, but because our sister's making us. But we will still do it.
I've literally got written here, Phineas and Ferb don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they're not there for there. Anyway, science.
Oh,
Doof is going to science the hell out of this. He's like, you know what? I'm going to cheat.
rewinding on Doof's backstory. Not Doof's backstory, but you know how I say good lines. I haven't gotten any from from the backstory.
That's acceptable.
But before that, Perry gets his brief from Monogram, and Monogram is like, "Where is Perry? He's taking so long." And Carl's like, "Well, he did look a bit sad at work the other day."
And he's
Monogram's
stuck
like,
in a hose.
and yeah, he's stuck in a hose. That's why he can't get in because they made the secret entrance so impractical.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Maybe I have been too hard on him. I need to be kinder to him. He's been working really hard for me." And then Perry gets his mission, and he goes off, and Monogram's like, "Was that okay?" And Carl goes, "Well, he looked pretty upset to me." And Monogram just goes, "I hate myself." and the delivery and the like out of nowhereness of just the I hate myself. It's
So
It's
good.
hilarious.
Can relate. Anyway, so he's at this kickball and he's being prepared. Also, we learned that he's one of the second best cups. He holds the cup stacking world record, which is very cool.
And also that's an important bit of trivia that'll come in handy
Yes.
later. Wink.
Also, there was a TikTok of a guy who covered that, and he was actually a cup stacking record. And Dan Pop and I reacted to that. You should watch it. It's top tier. So.
Yeah, I don't really support TikTok as content, but if you're going to follow two people on TikTok, follow Dan Povenmire and ourselves.
What about Jeff? And Jeff.
Oh, and Jeff, yeah,
But Jeff doesn't do a whole lot of TikToks. So,
Yeah, Jeff's not really a big social media person, is he?
No, not really. Okay, anyway, he's at the Doof game and he's like, he's ready. He's prepared. He's like, I've got this Kickinator. I stuffed around with Perry for a little bit. Never really kind of worked. It worked once, but it hit a tree. This isn't looking too good. But he's got the confidence. He's ready. He stares down his ex-wife.
Because his ex-wife is there.
And she's like, I kept the name. Mm-hmm. Banging line. I love that. I love families that even when they're split, still have some like non-pain.
We love to see it. Yeah, even the split families, the divorces were mutually agreeable, and they still see each other to support their daughter. And
Yeah.
I that's good stuff.
Yeah, and beat each other at kickball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something I can get behind.
That's the sort of ex relationship I want.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but I want it.
Imagine going to a kickball game.
Imagine, yeah. No, that's
Imagine-
that's a bit far, Joe. Chill out.
Imagine having a girl to be your ex.
Ooh. So I've got some notes about the Thaddeus and Thor thing. Back with Phineas and Ferb. So firstly, we transition back Isabella shows up. She's like, "What you doing?"
Cute.
And they're like, "Yeah, it's always cute." And they're constructing a fort,
Building a fort.
as you do. And then she goes over to Thaddeus and Thor. And she's like, "What you doing?"
No, what are you doing? Is what she says. No cuteness there.
She's like, "What are you doing, you dickhead?" So and Thaddeus and Thor look at her and they're like, "We're gonna beat Phineas. We're gonna be better." I can't even remember
like,
what they say.
Crushing some chumps at fort building or some crap like that.
And Isabella's like, "Oh, Phineas, what do you need?"
How can I help?
I love how supportive Isabella is.
Yes, and then there's a bit where the sister builds this thing over the fort so they can't see what they're building, and then Candace is like, "Oh, what screws are you using?" She's like, "It's top secret." She's like, "Isabella, get a tarp over this right now." And Isabella responds in the best way with, "What color?" It's like when business people would say they ask you to jump and you say how high. That's what they want out of their employees. But that with Isabella and being incredible.
We love Isabella, and we don't love employers doing that sort of stuff. We want employers to take care of their employees.
Let's rewind a bit. Do not do that if you are employing someone. That is a bad thing to do.
If you say jump and the person doesn't go, how high? Don't fire them. This is a job. This is an obligation and a contract for them to be able to make money, not a place where they have to excel and be the best at everything and just...
Including jumping.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, your job is jumping. Like if I
Oh, in which case you say jump and they say, what type of jump would you like me to execute? Because I'm a jump professional and I'm trained on the subject.
Two places that's acceptable. Athlete, like trampoline, gymnastics athlete, I don't know. And then a trampoline place. If I worked at a trampoline place and my boss said jump, I ain't jumping on the trampoline. I'm jumping off the staff room onto the trampoline. Iconic. I'll be like, okay, whee. I'm not even going to ask how high. I just assume the highest.
I've just got written here, the way Phineas and Ferb flex.
Okay, I also have that. So there's this big scary moment when the boys reveal their fort. It's a 2-story split cut. I didn't write it down. Oh, I did actually write down. It has a licorice dispenser and a slide. So they pros.
Have gone above and beyond. Keep in mind, these dudes are like 8 or 9. Thaddeus and Thor, well done.
And they're actually children, so they're smashing it.
Yeah.
They are...
They're not eldritch gods.
Yeah, like Phineas and Ferb. And then Candace is like, well, I don't speak much, but I can guarantee whatever the hell is behind this is better than that. Pulls it down. Phineas and Ferb have built a traditional fort. It's got a rope swing. Like, let's not dog it out now. It's got a rope swing.
Well done.
That's good.
And Thaddeus and Thor look at that and they go, okay, yeah, that's an arrival, but wowzers a million times better.
Idiots.
You're stupid and we win.
And Candace
Phineas
and
Ferb are
like...
Grand. Yeah, Candace is like, Phineas and Ferb, you've betrayed me.
Phineas is like, but wait. And she's like, you've betrayed me. But wait, I don't have a brother anymore. But wait. And so she leaves in a rant. And I've written, have faith, Candace. Have faith. Has he failed you before? No. Is this the first time? No. Because there won't be a first time. It's Phineas. All right, she leaves. And we're like, okay, what have they got? And they're like, topping our monument. Oh, do you have it written down?
I've got written exactly here.
My guy.
Topping our fort is a homage to the classic fort architecture.
And then hit it Ferb. Massive. Absolutely massive tower. Flies up. Oh, and by the way, the kickball from Doof bounces back. And that's a very good visual joke because it's important for the B story. But we'll get back to that later.
You have written
that's
down...
a flex.
I've written down what the rooms are.
Everything they've done. So we've got to lay this out. Imagine this in your head. A table. Thaddeus and Thor, what they have. Licorice dispenser, ordinary slide. Phineas and Ferb. All right, are you ready?
Yes, go.
A foyer, all imported marble, by the way. Bowling alley, pool with, I'd like to add, water slide. Telescope, terracotta army room.
Let's put in that one. We'll come back to that.
Jet engine wind tunnel. Scoring stage with 40-piece orchestra, all like in recording quality, but no licorice dispenser.
Pros and cons, you know.
Pros and cons. you gotta
Those are about even, right? Those sound about even.
Imported marble. That is some express importing. Have you ever had something in less than... Anyway.
I can't... In Australia, you can't get... You could not get a normal letter sent... from one town to the next town in 4 weeks if you paid express postage.
No, you know what's even worse? What? You can't send an email from one town to another. in less than a day.
For the listeners, there is a running joke in our little group chat that we have with Zach where I am called Sudanese boy.
You are indeed.
Because my internet is so bad when we're playing video games. And we looked it up, and I actually genuinely have worse internet than most places in Sudan. I'm not joking. I get less than 700 kilobytes a second. It's so slow.
It's hilarious. Like, it's bad for me as well, but it's not that bad, so I can laugh at your pain. Okay, anyway.
So, we got Terracotta Warriors.
Okay, yeah. Well, bowling alley, pretty average. Pool with a slide, again, pretty average. Pools on high stories, though, that's kind of hard to filter and shit and crap. And keep in mind that the thing, like, came out of the ground. So then you've got the pool be able to handle. Anyway, Terracotta Army Room.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm putting the book down for this.
This is a discussion to be had. So, do you know how old the Terracotta Warriors are? Say no so I can explain.
No.
The Terracotta Warriors were created in somewhere between 210 to 290 BC. They are priceless artifacts. They took... Oh, they're not priceless.
They're not priceless.
They're $4.5 million a warrior.
Each.
And there's 8,200 of them.
Yep. Nice.
And they took over 40 years to build. Every single one of them is unique. They're made from modular parts so that they could swap them out. They were created for the burial of a great emperor. They are this whole marvel of engineering and of the human world. And Phineas and Ferb bought every single fucking one of them.
They either bought,
how much,
stole, traded with whatever importing thing they've got. They would have had to get Indiana Jones on at least one of these.
We are talking in one day, they bought 8,000 Terracotta Warriors that cost $4.5 million each and got them posted without damage. How?
Can you even imagine our bank transfer taking less time than that?
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know how quickly it took them to transport 8,000 Terracotta Warriors? What could I do in that time? I could get out of bed and then go back into it. I could...
Keep in mind, when you're getting back into bed, it's not at night. It's within the same hour because you wake up, you go, fuck, I'm bored.
Went out to get
what
a cup
else
of
do I
tea.
do?
Yeah, exactly.
I go back to bed.
Exactly. I could
there is
browse online shopping that I can't afford and will not be able to get posted, and then close the tab and cry a
and
little.
go back to bed.
It's ridiculous. Even if you invented a method of teleportation, you would still have to carry the thing through the teleporter, and that would mean that you would have to.
There is, of course,
move.
another
It's
theory,
ridiculous.
which is the idea that they made the Terracotta Army. So they made another one. So it took us, normal people, an
40
army
years.
general who had access to, well, not near infinite, but a lot of manpower, 4 consecutive years.
40
consecutive
We're talking
years.
decades here.
4 decades of
and the
people's
thing
hard labour to make them.
Technology for clay sculpting hasn't really evolved an insane amount, especially considering these boys are all unique.
Even if they had, they would have to create a factory that produced 8,000 of them and in a personalised, unique way, which is extremely hard to do.
In several hours. We're talking hours with a H here.
And I assume artificially age them. Because they're like over 2,000 years old.
And they're surrounded by dirt in the Terracotta Warrior room.
And it's a huge room in their fort that they made to fight with their neighbours.
Not even mentioning the fact that they have literally a replica of Abbey Road Studio 1 with a 40-piece orchestra in it, just fucking chilling on the top floor.
Yeah, and also the orchestra members.
Yeah, they're included. They're part of the package.
They were there, of course. If you're gonna build...
They got a higher orchestra. Do you know what they had to do? They had to do auditions. They had to work out who was going to be in the orchestra. They had to pay them. They had to provide instruments.
The best orchestra.
Yeah, or they went to an orchestra and paid for the orchestra. Either way, this is setting them back so much money. That milkshake bar in the sky is paying so fucking well.
Imported marble? That ain't cheap. And then the wind tunnel.
Marble in general ain't cheap.
Why would you need a wind tunnel?
Oh, for testing things, obviously.
Yeah, and also to show that your massive fort can be deployed from the ground, which again is so much weight, can hold the force of a wind tunnel. There was
on a horizontal axis as well, and not on ground floor.
Just pulling it. They were up high.
That's mental.
That's insane.
What sort of architecture are they going for here?
Insane.
That's insane.
And there's a pool. There was a kid already in the pool. They've already opened for business.
They're already recouping losses. Love to see it.
They're already making money off it. Oh, it's just insane, and it's one of the reasons why I love this show, and also this episode being my absolute fave. Candace, of course, there's a bit where she's like, "Mum's coming. Got to make sure Mum doesn't."
Oh, yeah. Quotes. I've got a bunch of good quotes. So, she goes,
because Mum's coming home.
Mum's coming home, and she's like,
she sees it, it'll disappear.
Yeah, if she sees it, it'll disappear, and they haven't had a chance to do like the competition thing yet. This is like earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
So she goes out to the mum, and then I was like, I've finished the grocery shopping, and she's like, you should go. And she's like, why would I go? And she's like, well, what if you forgot stuff? And she looks at the list, and she goes, so I did.
Didn't you forget stuff? And she went
to get stuff, and we get a lovely call back at that because the last line in the episode is, now who wants some stuff? Normally she says fire.
And Candace throws the groceries in the kitchen, and then the mum is just like, when I said throw them into the kitchen, I didn't mean literally throw them into the kitchen.
And she's like, let's go out, let's see the thing. And she's like, no, stack these all up. And she stacks them up, and she does it incredibly quickly, and then Doof get all the way across the other store. He gets a shiver. And he's like, I just felt a disturbance in the cup stacking force.
Universe.
I think my record's been broken.
So good. I love that. We should probably mention what happens to Doof. Doof kicks the ball. It bounces off Phineas and Ferb's creation. Love the interactions they have there. And then he was gloating before he'd finished, and his brother beats him. And then his mum is just like, "Eins," and goes for the other brother and just leaves her younger, oldest to just, pity. It's sad.
Big rip. It is painful.
If it changed, I would be upset. So I'm glad they stuck to the character.
And then my final beautiful line from this episode. How does the invention disappear? Does Doof build some thing that has a laser that curves across the world and hits their invention and destroys it? No. Phineas turns to Ferb and he goes, well, fun's fun, but there's those pesky zoning laws.
Presses a button, and all that amazingness just goes back underneath the ground.
Now,
Terracotta army buried.
I'm guessing there's laws against having a giant structure just sitting underground in a suburban house.
It's perfectly legal.
But
how are they going to find it? And there are so many things.
Since when do Phineas and Ferb care about the law? They're like, well, zoning laws, I guess.
I guess this time we've got to get rid of it. Also, another great line when Thaddeus and Thor are building their thing. They're like, wait, where's Harry? Oh, there he is. Oh, he is a contractor. They don't do much. Good twist on an old classic.
I can't believe I didn't even get that one because I left it for you to do.
Yes.
On to the second adventure.
Hang on. At the end, they break Thaddeus and Thor. I'd like to think that they broke Thaddeus and Thor and not everyone else who've watched and visited it, because they know more about what would have gone into the effort of creating it. Like the sister's like, this isn't amazing, but it is just a terracotta army room. While Thaddeus and Thor are like, do you know how hard it is to make 8,000 terracotta warriors? And so
we tried. We couldn't even make one.
Yeah, no, we didn't even try. The best thing we had was a licorice dispenser. Try terracotta warrior dispenser.
Okay, but a licorice dispenser, those things are about equal,
Yeah, pretty neat.
Pretty neat,
as Ferb would say. All right, next episode, you got the synopsis for it. Deplane. Deplane.
Yep, it's got some big explanation points. We love to see it. So Phineas and Ferb sitting on the couch, and they're like, "It's time for breakfast. We're gonna while we're having breakfast,
we'll watch a doco.
Watch a doco. Yeah,
I love 10-year-olds sitting down for breakfast and then going, "We'll watch a doco." I watch dumb YouTube. I watch some good dream with you. Doco, sure, why not?
We're 18 and we're still watching shit content. I mean.
No.
Dream. No, Supreme.
Take that back.
No,
we watch
not Dream.
The best content.
We watch best content, but we also watch a lot of crap.
We do,
but not Dream.
We do watch YouTube, and it's not like a doco. There's certainly different things. Oh, there are some cool documentaries.
But I tell you what, when I was 10, I wasn't watching a doco. Do you know what I was watching on telly?
Pokemon.
I was waking up at 5:30 every morning so that I could do all of my chores because Mum's like, you can watch Pokemon, but you won't do your chores if you watch Pokemon afterwards.
Catch 'em all.
Gotta
Pokemon.
catch 'em all. And I had to do my chores beforehand, but Pokemon was on at 6:30, so I woke up at 5. I don't know where the fuck that motivation came from. There is nothing I would wake up for at
Pokemon.
There is nothing I would wake up for at 5:30 every single day anymore. There's nothing I care about that much anymore. I don't know. I don't think I've lost it. I just think I had something. Like,
And now it's gone.
I've lost it, but this is normal. I was just insane. I was so motivated. Where did that happen?
Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
Can you imagine me being that motivated
They
now?
kind of brainwash you into liking the show, though.
How so?
It's not good unless you've completed it all.
Yeah.
That's
It
part
gave
of
me an unattainable goal to work towards. I liked that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they motivate you.
Yeah, I
to do
supported
stuff.
it. I mean,
That's why you got at 5:30. You got to watch Ash be a shit Pokemon trainer because he is actually the worst.
he is pretty shocking.
He does snap.
Shout out to Ash for beating the Pokemon League after 20 years of doing it at age 10. Very nice.
I did mine in like 3 days, but nice.
So they're like watching this documentary and they see that Howard Hughes built a plane ages ago and it was the biggest plane ever. He built it during World War I or II. I'm not sure which.
He was building it for World War II.
Yes.
It got we
As
actually looked
transatlantic
into
passenger.
the history.
It's real.
Didn't actually get finished. For starters, it's real.
Mm.
Kind of a shock horror. Second, it didn't get finished until after World War II. So kind of a big
kind of lost its use.
Also,
there.
it wasn't made out of wood.
Mm.
It was a plane. They're not made out of wood. But I like the name Spruce Goose.
Spruce Goose is a good name, yeah.
Spruce Goose is a good name.
Very well done.
And we've looked into it, and it says 93 meters or 320 feet.
Was it 93 or 98?
I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, but anyway, 320 feet. And in the show, they say it's 319 and
11 inches.
11 inches.
And Phineas and Ferb see that record, and they see that it's literally it's 1 inch off being a nice round number, and they look at that and they took that personally.
Yeah, they did.
They
And
took that shit
They decided,
personally.
you know, it's one afternoon away from being broken. That's a quote because I'm cool.
Yes. So they decide to make a plane. They're going to call theirs the. I can't remember.
It's the Paper Pelican.
The Paper Pelican. Look at
Because
me
it's
remembering
made out of
things.
paper mache.
Yeah, so they make a paper mache plane, 320 feet exactly.
Smooth.
Do you know what they say when they measure it and they realize it's 320 meters? It's 1 inch bigger than the biggest plane ever. Eat your heart out, Howard Hughes.
Gets
So petty.
It's so good. It's sort of thing like Elon Musk and the crazy billionaires I want to have would do.
Yeah,
but they
exactly. If Phineas and
sad.
Ferb were real billionaires, that would make the world a better place.
Oh, I'd love it if anyway.
We get a cute moment where they're building their plane and the Fireside Girls show up and they go, "What are you doing?" And
What
oh,
you
sorry,
doing?
What you doing? And Phineas goes, "We're going to build the world's biggest plane." And Isabella's like, "Well, coincidentally, we're all going for our aeronautics patches." And they're like, Phineas is like, "Well, coincidentally, we need help." And Isabella goes, "Well, coincidentally, we're in."
I love
It's
that.
so cute.
Also, they think they're real cool saying it. Did you see their smug face? They're like,
Yeah, they're like,
coincidentally, yeah, I'm cool.
Meanwhile, Perry is sick of monogram shit.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, I got to get ready for work, and he gets like flipped with the flowers, but before he does, he's just sick of it. He's just
And-
like, I'm not coming to work this morning.
Secret panels on the floor, flipping over.
Oh, I've written
That's the running
all of
joke.
them down.
Mm-hmm.
All amazing visual jokes, and it happens throughout the episode with Perry. Nearly every scene with him has one. So first it's the plants in his house. Then we have the chair in Monogram's place, like it swaps out, and that apparently flips him into Doof's house with the stool and the plant on it. And then later on, he uses it to escape the trap. When Doof puts down the phone, he flips out of it. 'Cause why not?
And yeah, when he flips back over, he's free and he's like ready to go.
Ready to go. And then at the very end...
Oh, and that leads into a beautiful quote, by the way.
Okay.
That was your last highly improbable judo maneuver, Perry the Platypus.
I love this show so much. It's so good. Also, we've got to mention beautiful Doof backstory. One of the best. And I'd like to say one of the longest as well. And if you don't get that joke, it's because you haven't watched it Go watch it so you can laugh at that joke.
If only you could be in on the joke with us, but instead you're a pleb who's watching a Phineas and Ferb podcast and has made it to season 2, episode 7 without actually watching the show. And you know what?
8.
That's pretty pathetic, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and just watch this one.
Just watch this one.
Watch all of them.
Yeah. But this one in particular,
This one.
it's a good one.
And then the very end, he swaps and he appears when Phineas and Ferb are just in the middle of an ocean.
Yeah.
Middle of a lake, and they're just like, oh, there's Perry. Don't need to look into that. Just saw him appear on a chair. Normal thing for a platypus to do.
As you do.
As you do.
The fact, and also there was no spare chairs that were floating with them. Every chair on the plane was full.
Also-
Where did Perry's chair come from?
Answer this. What flipped? Because the other one, it's a wall. The other one, it's the ground. This is in water.
What the fuck?
What flipped? Because it was shallow enough that you could see it. But there's nothing there to flip.
Do we want to talk about Candace's plot in this episode?
Of course we do.
So Candace is going over to Jeremy's place for a pool party. And
It's a hard choice picking the pink or pink bathing suit.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have that issue all the time.
And Stacey's helping out. She's given fashion advice. She's on the ball. She is
Stacey is a good friend.
We love to see it. And then Candace is she's like, anyway, which hat should I wear? And Candace is like, it doesn't really matter. And I'm
they're
like,
completely
Candace,
different hats.
you're letting the team down.
Yeah, be a good friend like your friend is to you.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice. Be
Anyway.
like Stacey.
Anyway, they go over and Jeremy is talking to another girl.
Another girl?
And Candace immediately overreacts.
She's blonde. Jumping to conclusion time.
Mm-hmm. She's like,
Typical.
very Candace behavior.
All right, anyway. It's an Aussie girl, and I'd like to read out this quote in an Aussie accent for you. You ready? 2 West African pit vipers, and then I had to dive off 300-foot cliff and swim up through a school of piranha. Did you like my Aussie accent?
Yeah, it was really well executed. I've got to
Yeah.
say, it seemed very, very natural.
It did. It's
And
almost like
you know
it's
what
my
it didn't
normal
seem
voice.
like? It didn't seem overdone and overdramatic and clearly done by an American attempting to imitate
Yeah,
an
yeah.
Australian accent, which is unusual because you are an American and you've been putting this voice on for the entirety of all 2 seasons of the
joke
podcast.
works because I've been putting on this accent since the beginning.
Show us your real voice.
Oh, I can't.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't do it. It's in the
it's
character. I
classified.
don't want to ruin the podcast.
This is actually my real accent. I'm from California. Not a lot of people know that.
I don't want to say I hate that because if I did, I'd find it very hard to live in the place I do, California. But I hate that.
I'm just going to keep talking like this for the rest
Oh
of the
my
episode.
god!
Yeah, I know that you're going to hate
I'm
it, but I
gonna,
don't care.
I'm gonna either turn down your volumes in the
If
edit
this-
or mute you.
If there's any Americans that are listening to the podcast, is this a somewhat decent accent? I would like
Tell
to know
us in our
Do tell us.
Instagram,
Yeah.
Gmail,
Yeah.
write a review. Hate me on Twitter. I really want to get into the hate vibe on Twitter. I had a customer who
He's got a. We've set up Twitter and he's enjoying it a lot more. We were like, Joe, you're going to enjoy Twitter if you get on it. And he's like, no, I don't want to be on Twitter. You're on Twitter and
I'm
you're
on
enjoying
Twitter.
it.
I just want to get into that hate. I hear
Go to
about
the
all these
cesspit.
terrible people. I just want to find them. I had a lady that came into work today and she was like, how much is that carton of paper? And I'm like, oh, like $27. And she's like, how much is it? I'm like, all right, I'll look it up. Then I tell her and she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, all right. I scan it. Like I've double checked it. I'm like, yeah, it's $23.50 for that carton of reflex paper at Officeworks. And she's just like, oh. I'm like, what? She's like, at Woolies they had it for $37. I'm like, whoa. She's like, they're ripping people off. I'm like, She's like, I'm going to take a photo for my Twitter. And I'm like, yes.
Yes, lady.
Please do that. Can you tag me? I want to be a part of this
At
stuff.
of underscore Ferb.
At underscore.
Of underscore Ferb. So yeah, we get there's plenty going on this episode. For example, when Perry shows up to Monogram, we're just all over the place in the timeline, but I don't even care. When Perry shows up for Monogram in the second episode, Monogram's there and he's like, Doof has been recycling, and if he's recycling, that's good. But if he's making
No, he doesn't say it's good. He says only good can come from it.
yeah,
But it's such a strong way of saying it. Only good can come from it.
but he's also been
But if he makes
building
an
something.
evil
If he makes
thing
an
with
evil
it,
thing,
well,
that's
then
evil.
Nothing good can come from it.
Yeah,
Then only bad things can come from it.
but that would cancel out the only good things that come from recycling. So
Maybe
no.
it'd be a bad thing, but then the act of recycling is still a good thing.
What even is good
and
evil?
bad.
He gets into moral objectivism in the middle of a children's show, and I like that.
I love that. He's just like, why do we even use these words to describe such things?
That's
And I'm
actually my sister is doing a business ethics course at the moment. She's in the ethics part of her business course, and they're talking about like where morality comes from. Like, was in religious times, did God decide things were good and that's why they were good, or were things good and that's why God decided
I like
they were
how
good?
business people decided.
Yeah.
They're discussing morals so they can be like, now don't do that. Just make fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. I love how she's like, oh yeah, an ethics course is part of like all business degrees, and I'm like, really? Because it sure doesn't fucking seem like it.
Have you seen Billionaires? I feel like if they listened to that course that they were doing, they wouldn't exist.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph.
Because if you're a billionaire, someone's being exploited.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no two ways around it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm a self-made billionaire. I built this from the ground up. And it's like, yeah, you built it from the ground up with a $27 million loan from your parents.
And that sweatshop. Let's not talk about that.
The
though.
ground that you built it up from was not from your country.
It's in Africa.
it was for a place that you could exploit. And that is not good.
Okay. Aussie girl. She's sounding pretty cool. She's exotic. She's got an Aussie accent. She's blonde.
Yep.
She is, as Candace would say, boy nip. Now,
It's like catnip, but for boys.
living in California, and definitely not
as
Australia-
Californians ourselves.
Yes, that. We wouldn't know what an Aussie woman sounded like.
Yeah, I'm assuming the accent's pretty good because we wouldn't know, would we?
No, not at all. I want to specify. I don't feel like we were that exotic.
No.
Though I do want to clarify that whole two West African pit vipers and diving off 300-foot cliffs and swimming up through a school of piranhas is a normal thing to do. That's how we get to school.
Yeah.
If I was in Australia.
Yeah, if we were in Australia, if we were real genuine Australians,
Which
that
we
would be how we get to school because everyone knows that that's how Australians get to school.
Yeah,
It's-
well,
it's
you
common
have
knowledge.
to. It's so
But
hard.
you see, it seems pretty close, but there's little details that you miss if you're not Australian. Like, for example, we jump off a 300-foot tall cliff into a water full of piranhas with vipers in our hands. We do it every day. It's how we get to school. But we do it on the back of a kangaroo.
And the reason why is you have to protect yourself. Like
Exactly.
the 300-foot cliff is to protect you from anything that jumps, apart from kangaroos. Well, it's to protect you from koalas. All right, and then
And drop bears, of course.
and drop bears. They are good at dropping, but you know what gets them? The school of piranhas.
Exactly.
We hold pit vipers to get rid of the sharks.
Yeah, exactly. And the platypuses, because platypuses live in water and will sting you.
Yeah, the piranhas are the least of your worries. They're not even a problem. In a herd, they're great with getting rid of small
And
animals.
all Australians know how deadly a stingray can be.
Exactly.
A moment of silence.
Oh my god, I hear him making.
A moment of silence for our real Prime Minister, Steve. We miss you.
Forever in
Seriously,
our
it's been downhill ever since Steve left.
I was going to make a joke about America.
What were you going to say?
I can actually pinpoint in history when America started going downhill.
Or when was it?
The signing of the Declaration of Independence.
See,
It was about then when it was like,
It was
woo!
see, you say that, but without the Declaration of Independence, we wouldn't have gotten either of the National Treasure movies.
Ouch.
Yeah, I hit him close to the heart.
That kind
You
of
can't argue with that logic.
Nick Cage. Oh my man.
Did I tell you about that movie that you're going to absolutely love?
Yes, you did. It's that samurai one.
Jiu-Jitsu.
And it's
Every
Nick Cage
600
as
years,
a samurai.
ninjas fight aliens.
I'm like, I'm sold. I'm there. I don't care if the movie cinemas are closed. I am getting into one. I will pay as much money as I need.
We'll buy the
I
whole
want
cinema,
to see
just us two in there.
Nick Cage with a samurai sword
Fighting
shanking
aliens.
some aliens. And I never thought I wanted to see that until I heard it existed.
After this, we're going to watch the trailer for that.
There's a trailer?
There's a trailer.
I thought there was just a poster.
No, there's a trailer.
Oh, goddamn.
So anyway, Stacey talks Candace up to encourage her to go over to talk to Jeremy and like fight off
Let's
this girl.
sort this out. Like we've made this mistake before, and she wasn't even a girl last time. We know what Jeremy's like. Jeremy's incredible. Surely he's not doing
Don't
anything.
jump to conclusions. And
Yeah,
she's
don't
like,
jump to- have faith, Candace. I need to put that on a shirt. Have faith, Candace, in Jeremy. He's beautiful.
yeah, trust him. He's played by Henry Cavill. He's a great person. And Candace immediately jumps to conclusions anyway. Stacey's trying to calm her down. She's like, you're still the best girl here. She's jumped off a cliff. You've been to Mars. Were crowned the queen of it.
She is the queen of Mars, and she's worried about some Aussie girl.
She's time traveled. It's like, okay, I'm from Australia. Okay, I own Mars.
I've met a T-Rex. It wasn't a great meeting, but I've met one.
I've met one. Can you say that? Has she met her older self yet?
No, not yet. Well, no, not yet.
No, because the older
No.
self goes back to the roller coaster episode.
Well-
So she has met her older self.
It's time travel. I don't know how to express it, but let's go with no.
Okay, no.
No.
We'll definitively say no.
Not
Large asterisks.
yet. Exclamation marks on the yet.
So Candace stands up and she's like, "I'm Candace Flynn," and Jeremy goes, "Candace?" And Candace immediately goes, "Oh, he remembers my name. Of
course
How nice. Fuck off."
You can get rid of your sass towards bloody. He's beautiful. Jeremy doesn't deserve this hate. He's
Be
done nothing
nice
wrong.
to Jeremy. He's a good bloke.
He deserves it.
And, of course, by the end of the episode, it's his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just having a chat by the pool.
About a video game as well.
Which
she
is
didn't even do that
perfectly
stuff.
fine.
Which means that she's not a real Australian. Because we all do that stuff, really.
Yeah.
Not in video games,
She's
like
one
in
of
real
those
life.
fake Californian guys who put on an Aussie accent.
Yeah, and who the hell
Like
would?
us.
Yeah, who the hell would do an Australian accent for a podcast for 2
Especially
seasons
for like
just to annoy
2
people?
seasons. And
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's for sure.
so dumb.
We also get on the plane a beautiful song by Ferb and the Fireside Girls.
With his co-pilot instruments. Another
every
good joke.
every single time that Ferb teams up with the Fireside Girls, nothing but good tunes happens. And I support it. The Fireside Girls are ready for backup, and Ferb is ready to be a frontman. Phineas is like a lead singer.
Like he always does.
Phineas is a rock star frontman dude. Ferb is the leader of an ensemble.
Yeah.
Ferb's the standout voice with the harmonies behind him. He's cool, he's calm, he's got
yeah.
a nice mic. Ferb knows what's up.
Ferb
is truly
what we all
virtuous.
aspire, well, you aspire to be in your music career.
Oh yeah. If I could be half as good as Ferb, I'd be happy.
I would also be very happy with that.
Mm.
Okay. I have a question for you, but it's a question I kind of want to end on. So before that, airbag jokes.
Airbag joke is a great
She's
joke.
like, steering wheel. How's this going to help? Bang. Straight in her face. Airbag. A lot of people die because of airbags. Didn't kill her. All good. Like that.
And just generally a funny visual joke.
And then later on, when she crashes into Jeremy. He's like, "Oh, you wish you had the airbag now." I'm like, fair,
I love that. And it's so quiet in the background. It's just like if you listen really carefully, you get a nice, funny little joke. I support that.
It's not even on the subtitles.
There's also a great joke when the half pipe does it, like when the pool gets drained and the half pipe appears. They all duck out of frame to pick up their skateboard, and when they come back up, they've all just changed. And I love that.
It's like the
It's
new
so
movie
stupid.
magic, but a TV series sort
Yeah,
of thing.
it's stupid, and I love it. And that's about it.
All right, good. Now I've got a question for you.
All right, hit me with it.
Would we get Chris Hemsworth to play Thor in Thaddeus and Thor? Because our live action, of course, would replay parts of this episode.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Or the Aussie girl.
Oh, that's
Because
a tough question
you could
because
redo-
Extraction literally opens with the moment she's talking about in the video game.
Yeah, you could literally just redo that and just like badly CG some like pit vipers in his hand, badly get him to go through piranhas. I don't really mind, and then just put a really terrible wig, and just call it a day.
I think that Chris Hemsworth should play Thor because is Thor the one that talks? He's not, is he?
Not really, no.
Damn it! Because I
doesn't
think it
talk.
would be really funny to have Chris Hemsworth do an American accent, like a really and
You know what the correct answer is?
what?
Both, and have them on screen at the same time.
Yes.
Somehow make it that he's there both times.
And I would really support, like, if he played Thor, you give Thor one line and you give him an unexpected accent, right? Because
And it sounds terrible
Yeah.
coming out of his mouth.
yeah, of course, but you give him because Ferb's British, right?
Yeah.
And every time he speaks, they're like, oh, he's the British one. He's the one from a different country. You need to give Thor, because Thor's Ferb's equivalent. You've got to give him an unexpected accent as well. What accent do you think we should give Thor?
German.
See, I was gonna say, got a bit of a Boston accent going on. Like he's like a real sort of lower side American sort of person. He's like, hey, what? I'm walking here like New Yorker sort of like,
walking
I want my
here.
fucking pizza.
My man.
My man.
My man.
Or, yeah, you could just have like Jason Momoa, speaking of my man. Like, my man.
My man. I want to talk about how Thaddeus and Thor are established.
Mhm.
They're walking in and they're obviously physically look like Phineas and Ferb to a certain degree. And he does the gum me thing. And then he passes him the gum and he says some arsehole things. He's like, what are you two chumps doing? And they're just like, just chilling. We're just having a good time. I like how they make it like that arsehole sort of vibe. Phineas and Ferb could be at any moment. Like, they could have been
This
like
is
that if
what
they wanted
Phineas
to.
and Ferb would act like if this show was based on competition between Candace and
Yeah, if
the
it
boys.
was if
this was a show made by lesser creators, not made by hallowed be their name, Dan and Jeff, then that's what they would act like. They're literally the counterparts of, like, as Swampy told us about.
Yeah,
in
the counterparts to they're basically what standard shows would make their lead characters if you were given them. We want two boys that can make crazy contraptions and a sister that's always trying to bust them. And you'd be like, well, we'll have two arsehole boys that know they get away with it and are smugger about it. And then their mum never see it because they always plan ahead.
And the sister is the protagonist. But instead in this show, they're like, everyone's nice because it was made by... It was made interesting.
And the only issues we have is when Candace doesn't have faith in her boys or Jeremy.
Exactly. There is no evil characters in Phineas and Ferb. Asterisk, Susie exists, so that's not a true statement, but close enough.
Yeah, then they were like, this wonderful rule book we've written and how cool it is. We're going to throw it at a poor little girl who's gone, call her Susie and put her in the show.
And the thing I support about that is they established a rule and then they broke it.
Yeah.
And also...
it's good to show
subverts expectations because you're so used to it,
and it shows exactly how nice everyone else is.
By contrast,
when you just see Susie, because Susie's horrible. But I've met worse. No, I haven't. She's absolutely the worst person in the world. But like, it's just such an easy comparison to make, and it's one of the better reasons why I like Thaddeus and Thor as well.
So this is a great show. Anyway, I think we're
I know what
about
we
done
did
here.
today.
Do you want a bit of a handshake? Oh, plug the things.
We plugged them earlier, but I'll plug them again.
Yeah, plug them again. Implications.
Hate me on Twitter.
Yeah, go hit Joe's Twitter up and like send him hate mail. Be like, Joe, you're an asshole.
Yeah, or
but then
anything.
put the love heart emoji so that we know that you're like.
Try and argue with me about Phineas and Ferb and 140 characters. Send me an implication.
It's 240 now, or 280 maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's better. It allows you to put more things in.
Yeah, but I like concise. George Orwell and I agree on one thing, and that is if it needs to be said, it can be said shortly.
Fair enough.
He didn't say it in those exact words. Maybe
Except they've also
should.
added stuff so that you can just make a long thread. So if you want to like write an entire novel out, you can, and you can tweet them all.
Yeah,
at once.
see, I don't mind that because then I can be like 14,000 threads. I ain't reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to start reading a thread and realize I'm 280 characters in. Do you know how much commitment that is? I struggle with any.
Oh man, we say we're so different, but you have my attention span.
Yeah, at certain degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm not always on my phone.
Yeah, true.
Let's watch Mandalorian. I'll just grab my phone.
He's looking at me all mean like I don't like it.
Doesn't add up.
All right,
Anyway,
the Twitter.
I want to play Rocket League.
Ferb. Yeah, we
It's-
want to play some video games.
It's tournament time.
Alrighty,
Get the fuck out of here.
I know what we've done today.
I know we're done today. Boom, 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 boom.
The implications of Phineas and Ferb. Listen to it whenever you can.